We are at the Jacks Creek Trail. I failed to film driving in, but setting out into the Pecos wilderness. I'm planning on a 6-day loop up to the skyline, to Pecos Baldy and Trucas Peak, and beautiful drive-in. Beautiful first couple days getting through New Mexico. Took my time and visited a few monuments. Put some photos here. Now it's on to backpacking, and this is the first backpacking trip that I've done since January, and I don't feel fit for it. So we'll see. This route has a lot of bailout options, so if I decide I can't hack it, I can always cut it a little short. All right. Well, I made it. We are camped along Jacks Creek. We're, I don't know, maybe 6 miles in. About 1,500 foot climb from the trailhead. So that's not bad. That was the biggest thing I was worried about, was doing big sustained uphills. It's hard when you're unfit, but I did okay, and we only got 1,000 more feet to go to make it to the crest, to the skyline, and then any peak bagging past that is optional. So tomorrow we'll get up to Pecos Baldy Lake, and above that is Pecos Baldy Peak, and then from there we're on the Skyline Trail, walking above tree line, going up this feature called the Trail Riders Wall, and then to Trucas Lake and Trucas Peak and Trucas Lake Basin. So that's the plan for the next couple days, you know, along with some peak bagging along the way if I'm feeling up for it. But I'm feeling good. Nice campsite. Day was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was actually pretty chill the whole way, so no real steep sections. Really beautiful meadows. There's some cows grazing, which was unfortunate, but other than that, it was super beautiful. So I think I'm at like 10,500 feet right now. And then when we get to the skyline, that'll be 11,500. So, all right, I'm going to cook and eat and call it a night. seeing our first hints of above the tree line. Should hit Pecos Baldy Lake soon. Well, we made it to Pecos Baldy Lake. Well, we're up above Pecos Baldy Lake, and I guess our first real alpine views of the trip. I think we're at around 12,000 feet or so. This was a tough climb, very steep. All the way to the lake was like amazingly chill, but as soon as the trail pulled away from the lake, it went straight uphill. But we're doing good. There's East Pecos Baldy Peak. That's our objective. We're going to hike to the summit there, and it's not too much further. So, doing good. Beautiful day. There's Pecos Baldy Peak. That's the Santa Fe Ski Resort up there. This is the Pecos River Valley. Yeah, let's go check the summit out. I'm feeling tomorrow. To get there, this big grassy expanse, and I'm going to go out to this point and check it out here in a second. That's called Trail Riders Wall. Just a big grassy alpine expanse. The trail goes right along the crest of that tomorrow, so that should be cool. On here, this is all the valley of the Pecos River. If we were to look straight down, and I'll be a little careful with the edge discipline, there's Pecos Baldy Lake, about 1,100 feet below me. And then over here is Pecos Baldy. I'm on East Pecos Baldy, which, despite the longer name, is the taller of these two peaks. So, yeah, this was totally worth it. Had to push to get up here. It was not easy physically, but totally worth it. Alright, now we got a much better shot of Trail Riders Wall. Really spectacular. You can kind of see the trail in that saddle and then heading up towards the crest of the ridge line. God damn, that's beautiful. Well, I'm done with the Skyline. I walked from Pecos Baldy to Trucas Lake, which was lovely, and then now I'm looping back. So there's a couple things along the loop back that I might see. Pecos Falls, maybe, it's a little out of the way. And there's a cabin at Beatty's Flat. So I'll go check those two out. But mostly this is just looping back through the forest to get back to the car. I think this will end up being a 4-day trip total, which ain't bad. I packed for 6, so that's quite a bit of extra weight. What's interesting though is the trail. The Skyline trail was very easy to follow, very well maintained, but as soon as you're off it on a side trail, this is what it looks like. There's a trail here to follow, but just a little bit. So, but nothing bad about that. A little bit more adventurous. All right. Well, more and more curious. Now on a side trail to the trail that I was on, which itself was a side trail to the Skyline. And each one has gotten more and more obscure and hard to follow and covered with blowdowns and really feels like the middle of nowhere. You know what? I'm loving it. There's just enough of a trail that you don't have to stress out too much. And it's real pretty, super isolated. Yeah, if you got to do forest hiking without views, this is the way to do it. A little bit of adventure to it. Look at the size of these roots. Wow. Holy shit. Hey, good morning. This is day 4. We camped along the... Oh, God, let me get through this mud and I'll start over. Okay. Morning. So this is day 4. And I'm pretty sure it's the last day. We're going to be heading out today. We're going down now. We're along the Rio Azul, and this is gonna flow into the Pecos River near Beatty's Flats, where I understand there's like meadows and a cabin to check out. So we'll go check that out, and then from there it's just plowing back to the car. I'm not doing the side trip to Pecos Falls. My original route had me doing an extra day and a detour to Pecos Falls. But I'm kind of feeling okay with what I've done. You know, my main goal was to see the Alpine and do that stretch of trail from Pecos Baldy to Trucas Peak along the Trail Riders Wall. And I did, and it was great, you know. And I wasn't super confident in my fitness before this trip, so it was really validating to do that. I think I'm good on Pecos Falls. The research I did prior to the trip said it's a 30-foot waterfall. anyway, so kind of, you know, I think I'd rather get a shower and a burger today than get a waterfall in. So that's the plan for today, and I'll talk to you soon. This is Beatty's Flats. River down there is the Pecos. Somewhere around here there's a cabin. So I'll see if I can try to find that. And then beyond that, it's just climbing back up that hill and back to the car. So this is Beatty's Flat. Really beautiful meadow on the Pecos River. And there's a cabin somewhere here. And I ended up on this trail that climbed up and away from the river, and I thought I'd just missed the cabin. But I started pulling up here, and there's something in the woods here. So I think let's go check it out. But I think this might be Beatty's cabin up ahead here. Well, that's Beatty's cabin. Kind of weird. They got this foil covering a bunch of surfaces. I assume that's some kind of preservation thing, but a bunch of it is torn and blown all over the place. Kind of trashy looking. And this is just an administrative site. It's not like a historical. It's not something you can go inside. It might be a historical cabin, but it's been turned over for administrative use to the Forest Service. So you can't go in. The buildings are locked up. But still, was worth stopping. And now we got the grind to get out of here. This is Jack's cabin. A couple other structures just on the other side of the knoll. I think mostly used for storage. And this is the actual administrative site. Well, I made it. Hit the trailhead about 2:30, and now I'm on the long road out. Jacks Creek trailhead is like way up in the mountains, so there's a long drive along the Pecos River to get back to civilization. But I'm looking forward to that burger. There was an ice cold beer that was waiting for me, and that was great. Yeah, this is a great trip. Totally worth the hassle to get here, and I would come back. I'd do this again, you know, to maybe check out some of the other alpine lakes or peaks in this wilderness. This was a pretty sweet trip. All right, let's get that burger.